Hello! Hi everybody! I hope everybody's having a good day today. It's me, Luke. I'm back with some more EGR main story. I am kind of... allergies are kicking my butt a bit. So I'm a little bit gross. But I'm gonna do my best to get through it. Hi Ash Frost. How are you? Hope you're doing okay. Hopefully after today, I'll feel better. But for now, I'm gonna keep moving on. And get through probably another quarter of the story. Hopefully. Okay. Ugh. Let me plug in my controller. And I think before I get started, I'm just gonna quickly get some more tissues. Because I'm running out in this box. I'll be right back. Alright, additional tissues acquired. Awesome. Alright. Hi, I'm doing okay. Doing my best. I hope you're doing okay too, Neo. Okay. The way here. Tomorrow, the others and I are going on a long trip. Okay, Okay. Alpha braces for violence. Fangs, claws, and killing blows. Instead, the massive creature pulls her into a desperate embrace, almost pleading. The moment their bodies touch, the white fog closes in, rushing toward them like a wave that has finally found its shore. You finished medicating your allergies into oblivion? Nice. Her mind splits at the seams, shredded and remade in the same breath. The fog churns around her as countless fragmented scenes and distant conversations flood her memories. You're on the cosmic crafting grind? Good luck. Hope you manage to do... I hope you manage to get what you want soon. Whether that be getting a cosmic tool or what. You got the new pet, but nothing else? Well, you'll get there. Yeah, you'll get there. It's only been 2 days. Oh. I'm fine. It sounds worse than it is. My nose is just really runny, and so I'm having to stop to wipe it because I don't want it dripping all over me. I have not tried catching it. I'll give it a shot. Her memories? Whose memories are they? Congested me almost sounds like a deep voice Bishonen or Love in Deep Space dude. Interesting. Ugh. What? Who's laughing? Wow. So pretty. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so many night lights. Luna's gonna love this. Let me... Oh god. Ugh. Hey girl, you can't reach them like that. These nightlights are actually somewhere very, very far away. Who's talking? That voice. Why does it sound so familiar? Lucia. Tomorrow, the others and I are going on a long trip. It won't take too long. Who is that? Why does hearing that voice make her feel so... Within her mind, countless viscous shards of memory swirl around her in a dizzying vortex. Alpha drifts like a lone vessel, caught in a riptide, struggling to navigate the storm of illusions. You're first class too? My name is Lucia. These memories, are they hers? Who is it? Who is she talking to? The guy you have some interest in agreed to try out the Final Fantasy XIV free trial. Nice. Wonder if they'll like it. I hope so. Okay, wait. You told them that everyone who sticks with it has been fundamentally changed as a person? Yeah, it is kind of one of the games that does that, isn't it? Pointing a weapon at still calling yourself. That doesn't excuse what you did. You know, the phantoms drifting through her mind begin to fade, and she sees a building on the surface, swallowed by fire. Hey. She runs through the labyrinth built from countless fragmented moments she cannot name. Luna, have you started tidying? Lucia, protect your sister. But I don't want to. I just want to find Mom and Dad. Lucia, what did you find today? Lucia, it hurts. The little sister who followed you around and couldn't live without you is alive and standing right in front of you. And now you're going to leave me? Lucia. The error must end here. To create new alternatives, I need a power of deterrence. Now, I am your cage. More child trauma? Yeah, but this is alpha. We've been new. Visions flash across her sight, distorted and surreal. Some are battlefields she remembers carving with her own hands. Others are never seen by her. Her teeth grind against the pain. Each step is a white-hot blade, and through her mind, the memory shards of Alpha scream like a blizzard. Her mind is fluctuating, slowly, unstably. Not from fear or emotion, but from something deeper. A simultaneous repulsion and attraction toward the truth. And with every step, the shell named Alpha fissures a little more, peeling back to reveal the raw, bloodied nerves of Lucia beneath. She stands alone at the center of this desolate void. Light and shadow cleave through her spine, laying bare flesh and blood. Time rewinds around her. She sees herself fighting the Ascension Network. She sees herself wandering through the frozen sea. She sees herself hiding in the ruins. She sees herself standing in the snowfields. The long blade shrinks rapidly in her grip. Barefoot now, she runs across the boundless snow. She must push through it all, break past the surface, plunge into the deepest depths of this raging torrent. Her silhouette blurs, merging with the stardust of years gone by. Through the strange weave of fate, something waits at the end. Her starting point, hazy and indistinct. Suddenly, her consciousness flickers out. Silence swallows everything. Then she sinks into something warm. An embrace. Oh, look at her. She's so pretty. Her eyes won't open. The world is reduced to soft, blurred light. Let's call her Lucia. A gentle voice sings her down into sleep. Alpha slips away, cradled in the fog. The end is the beginning. This cruel world offers them nothing. No victory, no answers. This is a world lost in time itself. Humanity at last peered into its fissures, and devastation, chaos contamination, came without warning. Agent Zero, unraveling everything. Their failures condensed into crystal, layer upon layer, heaped into a tower that reached for the heavens. Oh, a red alert popped up. I saw one of them yesterday. I saw that it was the one with the Flora cane. How much longer must we wander through this spiral of life and death? Yeah, the new area is really pretty. I like it. And the music out there is really nice too. And when from that spire's peak, a pale presence unfurled without end, everything, whole and shattered alike, crumbled to nothing in an instant. Afterward, silence. The land never spoke again. But somewhere deep within the ruins, a tiny heart refused to stop beating. That is the origin of light. Origin, Chapter 2. Light is gone. Behind them, the Hetero Tower's core melts down. Glaring white light swallows the world. Then comes the violent ejection. God, I hope I'm not infected with the Punshing virus. If I am, I'd be fucking dead in like 10 minutes. There's no grace to it. They're wrung from the folds of that domain like excess water. A colossal hand flinging them down into the earth. A cough breaks the silence. No one knows who started it. It spreads. One voice, then another, then a ragged chorus. Constructs shouldn't need to cough, but their frames, already ruined, have shattered further. Conduits are split open. Vital fluid seeps into cavities it was never designed to fill. They've been thrown into a half-collapsed ruin. A fractured ceiling leans overhead at a precarious angle, barely sheltering a small pocket of space. No one is missing. 12 bodies strewn across the rubble, each wearing their own shape of ruin, The white-haired woman hauls herself up through sheer will, trembling with the effort. She sways, then starts her check on her team. Is everyone alright? Voices rise one after another. With each response, her shoulders ease a little more. Nearby, a man with a scruffy beard drags his sleeve across his face, smearing away the vital fluid. Did we make it? His voice echoes through the ruins. There is no answer yet. Julian, anything on Agent Zero? Julian's visual module sweeps their surroundings, streams of information cascading across his sight in rapid pulses. Then he speaks, the words dragged through ruined vocal cords, emerging as a weary metallic crackle. Hi, Yue. Hope you're doing okay. Signals gone. Completely. Not even residual radiation. His report comes slowly, haltingly. Every word carries the weight of disbelief, as though he's speaking to make it real to himself. Catching my stream means you're okay. Aw, thank you. I'm having some allergies, but I'm getting through them. And hopefully, by tomorrow I'll be feeling better. We made it. We actually made it! A laugh escapes number 2. Then the forced strength drains from his body all at once. He collapses back against the floor, head tilted, and releases a long, relieved sigh. On December 25th, 2197, chaos contamination fell upon the world. Within a single year, humanity witnessed the birth of its brightest dream, only to watch it twist into a nightmare under the corruption of the chaos contamination. Yeah, I hope I get better quick too. I'm not having fun with this. Those who ventured into hell seeking salvation would only stand helplessly as the home they sought to protect marched steadily toward ruin. Time and again, they reached for the light. Time and again, they were plunged back into darkness. These 12 weary souls have long been as scarred and broken as the homeland they swore to defend. But today, their dimmed eyes finally catch a glimpse of dawn breaking through the abyss. Wordless smiles bloom across every face. They smile, as though every failure along the path has just been forgiven. Number 4's gaze drifts to the corner, where a pale young man rests against the wall. Nemo, the core? The young man, Nemo, uncurls his fingers. There, against his right palm, sits an eerie cube. Its surface shivers and pulses, as though still straining against some unseen restraint. It's Nemo! Haven't seen him in a long time. For those who don't remember, Nemo is one of the many consciousnesses who was combined to create Vonnegut. one of our enemies for a very long time who hasn't been around in a while. No, not the fish. I still hope someday Vonnegut might be playable. The tower's sealed core. The only remnant left behind after the tower was scoured from existence. Here. Alright. Professor Dominic, you should come take a look at this. The girl's voice rings out across the fractured landscape, unanswered. Wait. Professor Dominic? Their laughter cuts short, strangled into silence, as though an unseen hand is clamped down over it. Professor? What's going on? Nemo? What happened to Dominic? Before he can offer any explanation, the young man collapses from exhaustion. Nemo! Number 5 moves on instinct, catching Nemo before he hits the ground. That's when he sees the cracks webbing across Nemo's entire frame. The unmistakable signature of force field overload. A force field designed to resist chaos contamination, with immeasurable defensive power. Created in Nemo's world, it is costly to produce, but essential for the Vanguard's exploration of hetero towers. Let him rest. We made it back from that place thanks to him and the key he carries. Leora, where's Dominic? Your guess is as good as mine. After we were thrown from the hetero tower, Dominic was just gone. Number 2 pivots sharply. His eyes sweep the group, locking onto each face as he counts. 12. He knows every one of them. Dominic is not here. No, that's not right. Ugh. You guys sneeze like a comic character? Okay. Wow. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. He starts ripping into the wreckage, hurling slabs aside, shouldering through collapsed beams. Dominic could be buried under here. Give it up, Chris. Dominic must have been thrown into the fog. You remember that hellhole, do you? The cold voice from across the rubble snuffs out Chris's hope in an instant. His hand freezes on a broken slab. Number 8 is right. Chris knows. He saw himself that the moment they tried to pass through the gateway, Dominic was already... Chris's hand slips away from the stone. Silence floods the space. That brief, swelling joy from just moments ago collapses in on itself, soundless as a punctured balloon. But we pulled it off, right? We got the core, and Agent Zero's gone. This is what Dominic staked everything on. So, at least... Tremor runs through his voice. He wrestles it back, forcing each word into something resembling calm. At least the world is saved now, right? Not a single voice rises against him. They all need this to be true as much as he does. Yeah, it has to be. As long as chaos contamination's erased, we can work with the survivors. We rebuild our city. Everyone will have a place to call home again. Then we can finally leave that godforsaken base. Life goes on. Let's check outside. They rise, one after another, and file out beneath the half-collapsed ceiling into the open air. Familiar, sickening crimson light seeps through the cracks in the walls. Devastation stretches out before them. Roads reduced to rubble, buildings stripped to skeletal frames, rebar twisted toward the sky like snapped bones. Oh, oops, No city remains. No survivors call out. Nothing left to defend. Crimson crystals that they know all too well carpet the corpse of the city. Ugh. The ruins roll outward in every direction, an unbroken wasteland to the edge of sight. And there, the Hetero Tower still stands, grotesque and unyielding. Chaos? Contamination? Oh. But we already took the tower's core. Yeah, Yue, the Hetero Tower. The tower that is hetero. The evil Hetero Tower. I know. In Pride Month? Awful. What I want to know is, where's the Homo Tower at? Hey, that's where I want to be. Above the tower, a menacing rift tears through the sky. You used to play bass for Homo Tower? Hi, Alan. I hope you're doing okay today. The Homo Tower's in Lee's pants, probably. Guess I'll have to check. That's from the gateway. when it opened. From the rift, pale fog spills into eerie silence. Creatures, inhuman, innumerable, come with it, flooding down onto the land in an endless tide. The horror all points to a single crushing truth. The human Vanguard team's 21st Hetero Tower expedition failed. Someone retches, someone sobs. The sounds are faint, and the dead world devours them instantly, leaving only silence behind. No, this can't be right. There have to be survivors. She drops to her knees and starts digging, bare hands prying at the broken slabs, clawing through the wreckage. A body, face down, already cold. She rises and moves to the next pile of debris. Another body, hurled inward, arms wrapped around something that's no longer there. They died protecting nothing. She rises, moving on again. 1, 2, 3. Too many. Then, at last, she finds one still breathing. Chaos contamination. Crimson crystals have devoured half of the man's body, creeping across flesh like a living disease. Blood pulses from the gash in his abdomen. His breath scrapes in and out in wet, ragged gasps. In his eyes, those inhuman patterns are dying, flickering out like spent embers. How can this... That's like me right now? Yeah, I'm also coughing up blood and shit. He heaves another concrete slab aside. Two of them work without speaking, each taking a side, sifting through the wreckage. Pile after pile after pile. Each one gives up the same things, corpses, or worse, the contaminated ones. Still breathing, but already lost to the chaos contamination. Leora, we need to go. Something's coming through the rift. Multiple contacts closing fast. We can't fight like this. If we don't move now... Julian's voice comes from behind, trembling with unease. Give me a second. Leora, we have to face it. We lost. We were crushed. The moment that gateway opened, everything was destroyed. Just a little longer. There has to be someone. She rips at the ruins with desperate, bleeding hands. Every slab she heaves aside splits her wounds further open. But she doesn't stop. One survivor, just one, might make all of it mean something. Is there anyone left? Anyone who can prove her heart didn't die for nothing? It broke long ago, when the world did. She's been standing in the ruins ever since. She tears into another pile. Beneath it lies a child. Dust blankets her small body from head to toe. Her eyes are pressed shut. Her lips cracked, her skin a ghostly pale. Her chest is still. Leora's hand freezes in midair. This the only child they found. She begins clearing the rubble, each stone lifted with unbearable gentleness, as though the child could still feel pain. When the last shard of rubble is lifted away, the child is fully revealed. She rests on her back without a word, impossibly docile. Leora lifts her into her arms. She weighs almost nothing, like the final forsaken thing this world forgot to take with it. Her skin is deathly pale and ice cold. I'm sorry. The words slip out, fragile and quiet. She isn't speaking to be heard. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. They were the ones who opened the gateway. They tore the rift wide open. They explored recklessly, without a care. They lost humanity's leader. It was everything they did. I'm sorry. Chris, crouching beside her, turns his face away. Then, a tiny movement in her arms, or so it seems. No more than a finger stirring. Leora's every muscle locks. The sound is so small that the wind nearly stole it. Leora hears it anyway. She catches the flutter of the child's lashes, and her heart stutters along with them, unable to settle. Her tears land hard on that pale, dust-covered face. Leora's voice trembles. He's alive. He's still alive. The wounds within her, broken open for so long, begin to close. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Her body trembles with a joy she cannot contain, as if the one being saved isn't the child at all, but herself. Chris turns. He sees those tiny lips still moving, barely, and stares for 2 full seconds before his hands come up to cover his face. From the rear, number 8 surges forward. Her leg was injured back in the Hetero Tower. She's been dragging behind the team ever since. Now, she limps through the rubble, but she's moving faster than anyone with that wound has a right to. Put her down. Let me do a quick check. Leora eases the small body onto the ground. Number 8 kneels. Her right hand goes straight to the carotid, her fingers finding the familiar groove. She strips back an eyelid, pinches for I don't know what that means. Drives a thumbnail into the flesh and counts the seconds until pink returns. It is a ritual of efficiency, every motion worn smooth by repetition. Helga, how is she? Severe dehydration, hypothermia, vitals barely registering. By every metric, she looks dead. She snatches the final vial from her waist, cradles the child's head, and feeds the liquid 1 drop at a time. The child's arm lifts slowly, drifting up beneath the gray sky, waving faintly as if searching for something. Luna! Easy now, easy. Your body's still very weak. The child heaves herself up, but her arms give out almost at once, and she crumbles back down. Her brow knots, a flicker of fury at her own powerlessness. Leora catches her shoulders before she can try again. Around them, the Vanguard members rush over, as if they've just found a lifeline. Who are you? Where's Luna? Luna? My little sister. Her voice sharpens with sudden urgency. She was with me. I was holding her hand when the place collapsed. And then... Her words quicken, but her voice shrinks, as if clawing through the rubble of memory itself. Then she stops abruptly. She stares at her hands, only to find them empty. Can't piece it together. When her grip failed, when consciousness broke, when her sister disappeared. I have to find her. She fights to rise one last time, but her body gives out all at once, folding like a wind-up toy mid-step. She falls into Leora's arms. Whatever fierce resolve had held her upright is gone now, emptied in a breath. Julian, take a look around and let me know. She's the last one alive and uninfected. See. Kid, listen to me. Your sister might still be alive. It isn't a convincing lie. But the light that had died in the child's eyes flares back to life in an instant. Where is she? We're having trouble finding her right now. But we know for certain that she's not in this area anymore. She shifts slightly, and the wreckage behind her comes into full view. What happened? It's dangerous near the Hetero Tower. I'm sorry. He looks at her, his eyes heavy with regret and a confusion he can't shake. How did a child end up in a place like this? There's no food left at home. Nothing nearby either. I could only find some here. I just shared a cookie with Luna, and now she's gone. Miss, what happened? Where did Luna go? We're so sorry. Leora lowers her head, her fists clenching ever so tightly, ever so slightly. The world has become very sick. We're doing everything we can to cure it. When the world recovers, and when you recover, you'll find your sister. I promise. But this place is too dangerous for you to stay. Would you like to come with us? Who are you? What do you do? We are... Yora hesitates, searching for the right words. She opens her mouth to answer, then stops. The question is so simple, yet it catches her off guard. What are they exactly? Vanguard. The word might be too grand for a child to grasp. Rescuers. But have they really saved anyone? Researchers. That wouldn't explain why they're out here in the ruins. Warriors. Right, we're warriors. The child's gaze drifts, faint and unsteady, across the devastation surrounding them, then over the 12 battered adults standing before her. Understanding settles in, and she quietly places her hand on Leora's arm. I see. Thank you for saving me. I'll come with you. The child weighs almost nothing, frighteningly light. At Helga's nod, Leora lifts her carefully. Oh, right. We never asked. What's your name? I'm... Lucia. Beneath the boundless night sky, the Vanguard team makes its way back to base. They trudge across collapsed bridges, through shattered streets, past the skeletal remains of a city consumed by chaos crystals. Everything they fought so desperately to protect has become a silent procession lining the road, mourners at an endless funeral. The ashen sky holds no promise of dawn, as though it has forgotten how to brighten at all. Okay, good night, Neo. I hope you sleep well. Yeah, I hope I sleep well too. Now and then, they glance down at the small figures, sleeping in Leora's arms. This cruel world offers them nothing. No victory, no answers. A single flickering light, fragile and faint, still breathing. You recommend nose tape? I don't know if I have any of that. Half a cookie! Half a dusty cracker lies in the ruins. One side still bears the mark of someone gripping it tightly. In a place this short on supplies, who could afford to throw away half a cracker? So we do have some medicine, yeah. But part of the problem is my parents' medicine cabinet has so much stuff in it, and it's not organized very well. So it's kind of annoying to find things. Yeah. A lot of the time I just don't bother with it. And a lot of the, like, allergy medicine we do have just doesn't do anything for me, so even if I did find it, I'm not sure if it would do much. Aw, you had to turn down going to an amusement park yesterday because you're all so sicky. Man, that sucks. At least my allergies are just only acting up when I don't really have to be doing anything. Alpha. They all left, one after another. Did the last hero fail too? Lucia was 3 when her father left home and never came back. Her mother told her he'd gone far away, and in the too small world of a toddler, Far away meant nothing at all. Only later did she understand that it meant he was never coming back. Her mother was a researcher. Her presence was more felt than remembered. A ghost of a kiss pressed to her forehead past midnight. The careful script of notes left beside plates, still holding their heat. Loving, yes, but always elsewhere. So most days it was just her and Luna. Luna was the younger one. She never learned to fix her hair by herself, always wearing her clothes inside out. Lucia taught her how to brush her teeth, how to tie her shoes, held her close when the night stretched long and terrifying. They grew like that, twin saplings braided together against the wind. Then the chaos contamination came. Faces in the street grew twisted and hollow, one by one winking out, till no one remained but the two of them. Shop doors hung open, shelves lay toppled, and she picked her way through snarled grass, searching for whatever might sustain them another day to carry home. One day, her mother stopped coming back. Lucia didn't wait. She had learned that lesson long ago, when she was 3. She held Luna's hand and wandered. The world was dying slowly, and they wandered for a long, long time. From crumbling buildings to stores still standing, the scavenging went on and on. When Luna cried, she just told her that it would be okay. She'd always be there. When Luna was hungry, she split her own cookie and handed half over. Then the Hetero Tower vanished. With its disappearance, the ground shuddered violently. Amidst the collapsing world, she held Luna tight. And then nothing. Lucia woke to empty hands. Her sister was gone. Around her stood 12 battered adults. A woman with white hair gathered her up and said, "We'll help you find her." She believed them, because belief was all she had left. Leora turns the page. To know the child better, she's taken note of the essentials. Name, approximate age, physical records, and a date. Birthday. Her gaze lingers on the date for 2 seconds. Then she closes the file and pushes open the conference room door. Harsh white light cuts across every face in the Vanguard team. The scars the Hetero Tower left behind have yet to heal, but no one in this room mistakes the gravity of the hour. The head of the table sits empty. About that rift left behind when the Hetero Tower disappeared. Julian, can you walk us through what you've seen so far? Julian leans against the wall. When he speaks, his voice is still hoarse, thinned out. Non-linear acceleration in progress. White fog bleeds outward from within, the affected area expanding every day. Yesterday, when we returned, the expansion rate was at 0.05%. Today, we can't even get a lock on it. The fog is creating intense interference with our instruments. Interference isn't even accurate anymore. More like consumption. Our signals, any matter that touches it, it just takes it all in. At this rate, it won't stop until it's swallowed everything. I wish I could tell you that you were wrong, but this is the truth we have to carry. She looks down at the terminal resting on the table. A recorded message waits inside, left behind by Dominic. This terminal. We all know Dominic always kept 2 plans ready. I think it's time that we go through it again. Ugh. The terminal emits a thin light. It coils upward, shaping itself into a translucent silhouette. Dominic, standing there as if no time had passed. Chris's hand stiffens on the table, knuckles drawn tight. The voice that follows is achingly familiar. Calm, unwavering. The voice of one who once held the world on their shoulders. If you're seeing this, it means my plan A failed. I vanished inside the tower. That disappearance brought no victory. The figure in the projection pauses, as if giving the audience time to process what was just said. Then my theory was right. The worst kind of right. The kind none of us wanted. The Hetero Tower isn't the source of the chaos contamination. It's only a symptom. Our world alone doesn't have the strength to save itself. We must truly unite with the power of other worlds. If it really comes to that, how do we unite with other worlds? A question from one of the Vanguard team members echoes from within the projection. We send out a call to arms to other worlds. From the place closest to our civilization's end, the most dangerous place of all, the Hetero Tower. We have to broadcast our message to as many other worlds as we can reach. The others in the projection fall silent. Dominic's plan isn't just empty words. Everyone present knows there's more to come. Simply learning about the civilization filtering isn't nearly enough for a world to survive. Without power, civilization will only end up like ours, marching toward an inevitable collapse. Before their world sinks into the same stagnation as ours, they must be given the power to resist the filtering. These people are spent, hollowed out. If any power still remains to them, it no longer resides in their broken frames and weary limbs. It lies elsewhere. Every gaze shifts to the cube beside Nemo, the key forged from chaos contamination within the Hetero Tower's core, filled within. All of them remember the terror it unleashed. The core of the Hetero Tower. We must harness its power. Absorb the Hetero Tower's core. Use it as a template to replicate and generate technical blueprints that can actually be deployed. I call them Sephiroth. Chris mutters under his breath. Knew it would come to this. He'd always been planning for the worst. The Dominic in the hologram doesn't stop. The voice continues, flat and level throughout, as if reading off a weather report. Yet no one forgets the moment those final words came. At that moment, Dominic turned to the window, gaze reaching past everything visible toward something far away. A place that did not yet exist. Only by uniting with other worlds can ours be saved. The projection freezes for a moment. Then Dominic's image tilts its head slightly, as though something just occurred to it. It's all up to you now. The hologram fades away. The terminal rests silently on the table, its faint glow dimming into nothing. In silence, Leora's gaze holds the empty air where the terminal light once lived. Then, softly, she speaks. Nemo, you know more about the Sephiroth than any of us. Could you help us understand what we're working with? Nemo leans back in his chair. He was the one who used the key, sealing the core within the Hetero Tower, and the strain it placed on his mind still lingers. The key that absorbed the Hetero Tower's core is essentially a technical blueprint. We analyze it, we replicate what we find, and the results are what we're calling Sephira technology. If we want to reach more possibilities, we need to master as many Sephiroth as we can. But there's a catch. The Hetero Tower's core needed the key to contain it. Sephira technology that stemmed from it isn't any different. It needs an appropriate vessel. Right now, the only vessel we've identified is the mind. When I made contact with the core, the sensation was immediate. Part of its power was accepted, while the rest was repelled. Only a mind with compatible properties can house a Sephira's power. Compatible mind? He repeats his words, as if tasting the truth of it. Yes. And once the technology is developed, how do we actually put it into use? It depends entirely on what other worlds are out there, and what each of them needs. Nemo lets out a sigh, barely audible. Dominic must have known from the very beginning. Sealing the core would not grant the death Nemo was reaching for. There would have been no other reason to pass this information on. So once we've got this Sephira tech ready, how do we deliver it to other worlds? If Project String is going forward, we're going to distribute the Sephiroth. We'll have to enter that rift, go back into the fog. Everyone knows the horror hidden behind that rift. Even now, it's still expanding, silent and slow. White fog seeping through like an open wound that refuses to close. Ugh. 1 second. Ugh. My little trash can here is already getting full. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. Go back there. The silence returns, deeper than before. Leora sits at the table's edge, quietly studying the faces before her. She knows. She knows every single one. Their names, their fears, the loss they carry in their bones. The last thing she wants is to tell them this is necessary. We don't know where this path will lead. Dominic gave us a way forward. But even someone like Dominic couldn't tell us what we'll find on the other side. There's only one thing I can say with certainty. Dominic believed that this was worth it. That person gave everything for that belief. She pauses for a moment. So, I want to ask all of you, are you willing to walk down this path? Chris answers almost immediately. You don't even need to ask that. His voice rises. Dominic put everything on the line, even his life. What the hell are we still sitting here for? Let's move. Helga says nothing. She only gives a slight nod, the smallest acknowledgement. Julian sniffles. I'll handle communications. The signal protocol for Project String will take time to decrypt, but I can do it. Are you sure about this, Leora? Developing a Sapphira requires a temporary mind container. Dominic said your mind is the only one with enough resilience to hold it temporarily. But he spares them the details of the pain. But everyone in this room knows exactly what it costs. Yes, I'm ready. Alright. I'll go collect the data we need. One by one, the Vanguard team speaks their resolve, each in their own way. Leora's gaze moves across the faces of the companions she's worked alongside for so long, then drifts to Dominic's empty seat at the head of the table. Complex emotions flicker through her eyes, gone in an instant. She simply holds their gaze and offers a soft smile. Let's get started then. The Vanguard team sets to work. Nemo ventures into chaos-contaminated zones, gathering data for the Sephiroth. Julian tracks the fog's expansion rate, while doubling as team's communications relay. Helga takes charge of the medical care. Leora compiles the data and begins developing the Sephiroth. The rest rotate through their duties in shifts, scavenging supplies, eliminating hostiles that crawl out of the fog, maintaining the defensive perimeter, and always coming back with fresh wounds. But no one stops. They can't stop. Not when the rift overhead widens with every passing day. Everyone appears to be functioning, but beneath the surface, quiet disarray is taking hold. Two days after waking, Lucia spends most of her time in bed. Helga forbids movement, and honestly, she can barely manage it anyway. Lying still for so long unravels her sense of time and sleep, which is when she begins to notice. The grown-ups always pass by her room, always coincidentally. Helga lingers a little longer than necessary after each routine check, waiting until Lucia's eyes have closed. Leora sometimes slips in to adjust her blankets. The men mostly linger outside the door, just a moment. Just long enough to know she's still alright, then move on. She doesn't understand why they care so much, but she can feel the warmth she can't quite name. She notices something else, too. The grown-ups aren't keeping things tidy. Dust thickens on the windowsills. Discarded parts gather in the hallway corners. Chris's bottles scatter across the floor. Leora's documents have crept from her desk all the way to the doorway. She knows this state of things. Home looked the same during those days when her mother didn't come back, and back then, she was the one who tidied it all. On the third day, as Helga is away in the lab, Lucia eases herself out of bed, bare feet pressing silently against the cold metal floor. Leora is walking down the hallway when she sees her. Lucia, what are you doing up? I'm feeling better now. I want to help. Oh, you don't have to earn your place here. All you need to do is stay safe. As long as you stay safe, that's hope enough for us. Leora keeps the words to herself and simply crouches down, meeting Lucia's eyes at her level. Lucia lowers her head, thinking for a moment. But you all come to check on me every day when you get back. Leora pauses, caught slightly off guard. And before, when Luna was still with me, I was the one who took care of things at home. The sentence trails off, unfinished, but Leora catches the rest of it in the silence. She presses a gentle hand to Lucia's forehead, her face soft with concern. That's when Helga strides back from the lab, all brisk efficiency and familiar bluntness. Absolutely not. Back in bed. One wrong step and you'll undo everything, and I don't have the resources for a second round of treatment. Leora catches Helga's eye and gives the smallest shake of her head. A little movement won't hurt her, Helga. Staying in bed all day? That has its own cost. Helga studies Lucia. Her face is still pale, yet her two small feet are planted firmly on the ground. Fine. No running, no lifting anything heavy. And if you feel even slightly dizzy, you stop immediately. Understood? Okay. Chris lives in the hammock by the entrance. Every time he drags himself back from a mission, he collapses into it, digs out a bottle, takes a swig, and stares at the wall with hollow eyes. The floor around him is a graveyard, empty bottles mixing with scattered weapon parts. Magazines, energy canisters, replacement joints, all of it dumped together, indistinguishable. Before a mission, he spends ages rooting through the mess, swearing quietly as he hunts for usable pieces among the garbage. Lucia watches him struggle a few times, and she waits until he's gone on the next mission, kneels before the pile, and begins to sort. She doesn't know the model numbers, but shapes she understands, sizes she can read. Like things with like, broken apart from whole, spent casings gathered into one corner. When Chris returns and reaches into his usual chaos, something feels wrong. He looks down and freezes. Magazines on the left, energy canisters on the right, replacement parts organized by size. Who did this? No one answers. Lucia is already elsewhere, long gone. The following day, his gear check flies by in half the time. And when he returns from the mission, he quietly puts the new parts he brought back in their designated spots. Julian's comms terminal sits at the heart of a perpetual disaster. Cables snake across the floor. Components, stripped modules, handwritten frequency logs. All of it scattered within a 2-meter radius according to an internal logic known only to him. Lucia doesn't dare touch the components. She has no way of knowing which are critical. Instead, she works the edges. Discarded packaging cleared away, tool rack straightened. Then she crouches low and carefully gathers the dangling cables, binding them together with a length of old rope she scavenged from somewhere. A small act of care, so no one catches their foot. When Julian comes back, he trips over nothing at the doorway. His leg lifts by muscle memory to clear a hazard that isn't there anymore. He lifts his head in confusion, scanning the area. Who touched my stuff? Then he sees it. The heart of the chaos, his chaos, is still there, undisturbed. Only the outer edges have been gently straightened. The cables no longer sprawled across the floor like tripwires. Oh. He lowers himself back down before the terminal. For a while, nothing. Then, quietly, he nudges an empty casing by his foot over to the trash pile. Helga's medical station is the tidiest spot in the base. She keeps it that way herself. What she doesn't maintain is herself. The crack running from her shoulder to her wrist has never been repaired. Resources go to others first. Lucia once sees her organizing instruments one-handed. She walks over, positions herself on Helga's left, and begins passing instruments to her, one by one. I didn't ask for your help. But Lucia doesn't leave. She stays right where she is. Fine. When Helga needs the next instrument, she passes it over. When she doesn't, she waits quietly nearby. Helga doesn't tell her to leave again. Nemo's room is always locked. Lucia tries the handle once, finds it firm, and doesn't try again. But she notices something. Every time Nemo returns, he stops at the end of the corridor and sits against the wall. For a while, eyes closed, doing nothing. The floor there is cold. At least, Lucia thinks it must be. The metal panel is completely bare. The next day, a small thermal blanket appears in that spot, neatly folded. The first time Nemo comes back and notices it, he pauses briefly, then carries on like any other day. By the third day, the blanket has slightly shifted. Someone sat on it and put it back. It's now folded differently than how Lucia left it. Leora is the last coffee drinker in the base. Constructs have no use for caffeine, but she's never let go of this one human thread. A cup is always within reach when she works, a ritual from a life she used to have. She often forgets to refill it when it runs dry, forgets to dump it out when it goes cold. Sometimes 3 or 4 half-finished cups sit lined up on her desk like abandoned thoughts. After watching for a few days, Lucia figures out how to use the coffee machine. That day, Leora worked in the lab for over 10 hours straight. When she finally returns to her room, the old cups have been cleared away. The documents have been stacked neatly inside. In that clearing sits a single cup of coffee, still hot. Already dazed from exhaustion, Leora stares blankly at the coffee cup for a long moment. Then she picks it up and takes a sip. There's far too much sugar in it. like something a child would drink. She used to make it that way back when she first started drinking coffee. Now she prefers it bitter. Way too sweet. She takes another sip. Days slip by like this. Grown-ups go out, come back with fresh wounds, and keep working. Lucia finds her place in the rhythm. She tries her best not to disturb anyone, but when no one's looking, she works bit by bit to shape the cold metal base into something that resembles a home. Cloth laid down, corners tidied, fallen things set upright, small traces of life pressed into every cold surface. Movements are always quiet and careful, as if she's afraid of being caught, same way she used to pull blankets over Luna in the dark. One thing gnaws at her. The base shows no trace of vibrancy. Digital plants bloom on screens everywhere. The real ones are nearly absent. Sometimes she finds herself standing before the empty garden plot, staring. The place feels like it was once meant for beautiful flowers. Now, there's nothing there at all. Medical station. Chris lies on one side, Nemo on the other. Both of their frames have been partially opened up, their damaged structures laid bare. Chris's left arm joint is shattered again, completely. Inside Nemo's chest cavity, a deep fracture runs long and jagged, still bearing traces of where it was welded shut before being torn open once more. Give me a second. On the next bed over lies Julian. The only patient in the medical station without external injuries, he curls in the corner, his face ashen. His modified eyes have lost their usual restless darting. Now, they stare vacantly at the ceiling. Helga moves between the three beds. When Lucia enters, she's working on Chris's joint, tools in her right hand. Lucia crouches beside Helga's toolbox, a row of instruments spread out before her in varying sizes. Oh, can you just turn off my pain receptors? Can't. Why not? Ow, 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 bleed, bleed! Line deviation. We ran out of stabilizers a few days ago. Turn off the pain receptors now and your deviation rate will just keep climbing. Grit your teeth and ride it out. Chris grits his teeth against the pain, his face a knot of tension. His fingers curl around the edge of the bed, gripping so hard the knuckles go pale as bone. Lucia takes in the entire scene. Quietly, She walks to Chris's bedside and holds out a folded piece of cloth. What's this for? I used to let Luna bite down on something when she had to get shots. She said it helped. Chris stares at the cloth, then at the small, earnest face gazing up at him. Kid, I'm not your little sister. He grumbles for a good while, then bites down on it. Helga finishes with Chris and turns to Nemo. Nemo's chest fracture is worse, far trickier than Chris's joint. Man, before I started stream, I thought my allergies were getting a little better, but now I feel like they're not. Or like they're back to how they were before. The welding requires absolute precision, and with the repair site so close to his core, pain receptors must also stay online. The young man's hands clutch the bedsheet, knuckles white, a sheen of sweat covering the bionic skin on his temples. But his face betrays nothing, and not once does he make a sound. Lucia keeps stealing glances at him as she passes the tools to Helga. Once the procedure ends, she walks to his bedside and holds out the cloth to him, too. You can bite it, too. No need. If it hurts, holding it in will make it worse. It's already over. He doesn't say no. He just lets out a weary sigh, takes the cloth, sets it aside. Outside, Leora leans against the doorframe, watching the entire procedure. She doesn't enter until Helga straightens up from Nemo's bedside. How's everyone? Chris's joint is rebuilt. Spare parts we had left were barely enough for one final set. Nemo's fractures have been welded shut, and there's only enough material left for one more repair. That's it. If anyone takes this level of damage again, I can't promise I'll be able to put them back together. Leora makes no comment, her gaze drifting silently to Julian. And him? Mind boil over. Fried his brain. Julian. He maintained the relay for over 20 hours straight again? A weak response drifts over from the bed. Fog. The fog seeping from the rift. The interference was too heavy. If I'd let the relay drop, everyone out there would have gone dark. And today, there'd be 5 or 6 more lying here instead of me. And that's not even the worst of it. While I was holding the relay open, I could feel it. Fog. It wasn't just interfering. It was actively suppressing every construct in the field. And then, something new came through. Not the usual entities corrupted by chaos contamination. Weakly, he turns his head toward Chris and Nemo. Whatever those things were, that's what did this to them. Silence settles over the medical station. By the toolbox, Lucia works in quiet focus, wiping down each instrument, slotting them back into order. Her movements are gentle. In the silence, each tiny clink of metal sings out, sharp and clear. Chris hasn't let go of the cloth. He speaks through it, the words coming out dulled and indistinct. Hey, not in front of the kid. Julian shrinks back slightly. Lucia continues wiping down the instruments as though she hasn't heard a thing. But her hands lose their rhythm, just a little, without her noticing. Leora walks over and gently lowers herself beside Lucia. Lucia, you were a huge help today. Let Helga handle the rest, okay? Go get some rest. You've earned it. Lucia's gaze shifts to Leora, and across the room to Helga. Helga answers with a slight nod. Okay. Hey kid, hold up a second. Got something for you. Noticed you keep staring at that flower bed outside. Nemo said you'd know what to do with them. Just reminding you not to step on the dandelion. Flowers are rare now. Yeah. Here, kid. Take these dandelion seeds. Lucia accepts the seeds with a dazed, uncomprehending tenderness, gathering them into her arms as if they were something fragile and precious. Ugh. Thank you. She slips out quietly, her footsteps receding down the metal corridor. The medical room holds only the adults now. Helga, if we keep pushing forward with Project String, we'll need to run more missions toward the Rift. Even where we are right now. We're asking for casualty projections. Yeah. Like I said, Chris's joint parts were the last set in the inventory. Nemo's welding material is good for one more repair, and that's it. And that's just today's damage. A prolonged, heavy silence settles over the medical station. Chris pulls the cloth from his mouth, feigning nonchalance, then cries out as the movement tears at his wound. Nemo's eyes lower from the ceiling to Leora's face. Julian uncurls slowly and closes his eyes, exhausted. Leora exhales. Sigh so faint it's barely there. Something nameless tears at her heart. She stands there for a moment longer, then turns and walks out of the medical station. Night. Lucia crouches at the empty garden bed, tucking the dandelion seeds into the soil with care. She remains there for a long while, gazing at the freshly planted earth. Even knowing they won't bloom anytime soon, she can't help but be captivated by these small, fragile things that hold the promise of life. On her way back to her room, she passes Leora's laboratory again. The table outside still holds the discarded drafts Leora moved out a few days ago, now sorted into several file folders. Curious about what the adults have been working on, Lucia finds herself picking one up. The words make no sense. She recognizes most of them, but strung together, they might as well be another language. World attenuation coefficient, Zephyro load threshold, project string signal protocol. She flips to the cover and finds the files marked with strange letters. Omega. She stares at it, her lips moving as she tries to sound it out. That's not quite how you say it, little one. Lucia jumps, the folder nearly slipping from her hands. Her gaze snaps up to find Leora in the doorway. She hadn't heard her approach at all. I wasn't trying to snoop. I know, it's alright. There's no one left to read them anyway. She draws Lucia down beside her, takes the folder from her hands, and skims it with a brief glance. Make sense of any of it? Ugh. Lucia shakes her head, her expression open and guileless. This letter is called Omega. It's the last letter of the Greek alphabet. Lucia nods, all sincerity, her lips moving soundlessly around the unfamiliar syllables. Her eyes, usually so still, glimmer now with fascination. Leora can't help but smile. Alright, these really aren't meant for you anyway. She closes the folder and sets it aside. Then, watching Lucia's gaze linger on those three letters on the cover, pauses in thought. Tell you what, instead of all those boring files, how about I tell you a story? You know about the stars? You mean the little nightlights up in the sky? Mom told me about them a very long time ago. 1, 2, 3, and so many, many more nightlights. The childlike fancy brings a smile to Leora's face, but it fades just as quickly. A tightness builds in her throat. This little one always puts on such a brave front that Leora often forgets she is still, after everything, just a child. Leora's hand finds her hair, stroking softly. There are so many stars up there. The nightlights your mother told you about. More than anyone could count. But each and every star is lonely. They shine all on their own, scattered so far apart that their light can never reach each other. Each star believes it's the only one in the whole wide sky. It doesn't know anyone else is out there. Lucia listens without a sound. She curls up at Leora's side, tucking herself small and listening to the fairy tale. For once, she doesn't have to be anything but a child. But then, one day, a group of people looked up and said, "No, that's not right. Stars shouldn't have to be alone. They should be able to see each other. If someone could carry one star's light to another, and then pass it along from that star to the next. Then eventually, the whole night sky would light up. How do they pass the light along? They turn themselves into light. They set off from one star, carrying its spark with them. They fly to the next star and plant that little flame there. Then they fly to the next one and the next. To reach the next star, how far would they have to fly? Is it as far from here to my home? Much, much farther than that, I think. But if it's that far, how does the light of the stars find its way home? Maybe they can't. Maybe they can never go home again. Something dims in Lucia's expression, but she nods all the same, as though the answer makes sense. Those people, the ones who turned into light, what kind of people are they? A silence settles over Leora. She finds herself retracing her thoughts to that first time Lucia asked the question, and the answer she had offered in return. Warriors. They're warriors too. Lucia is quiet for a moment, thinking. Then she raises her little hands. A single finger extended from one, the other closed into a tight fist. Presses them together, fingertip to knuckle. Then, with deliberate slowness, she begins to pull them apart, the gap stretching, until her arms are spread wide. So far. They'll go so far away. Yes. Even though they travel to such distant places, they might not accomplish anything. Maybe they set out, but never reach the other stars at all. Maybe they set out and lose their way, somewhere in the universe. Maybe, even after they leave, the night sky stays just as dark as before. But they're brave. Even with a universe this big, this dark, they aren't scared. To carry the light, they still choose to fly toward those stars, no matter how far away they are. Light cutting through all that dark. It sounds so cool. If Luna were here, she'd love it too. So I think they're heroes. Leora's lips part. Her mind floods with tangled things to say. Then she meets Lucia's eyes. Eyes that hold no doubt, no attempt at comfort. Only that absolute, unreasoning certainty that belongs only to a 7-year-old. She cannot bring herself to break the child's hope. Yeah. Maybe they really are heroes. So what are their names? The heroes? Leora pauses for a moment. It was just a story she'd made up on the spot. She never prepared names for its characters. Never imagined they'd be called heroes. She looks up at the ceiling she knows all too well, then lowers her eyes without meaning to. Lucia's gaze follows, drawn by the movement. Together, they find themselves looking at the unfinished document lying nearby. Omega. They've been fighting all this time for this research, to cure the world. Lucia's imagination, a streak of light suddenly shoots across the pitch-black night sky. The hazy figures in the story begin to take shape in her mind. How does that sound? She hesitantly utters the letter, only to be met with a gleam of pure wonder on Lucia's face.
That's so cool! Hero Omega.
Yes, Hero Omega.
So what happened to Hero Omega after they flew away?
Well, to carry the light to other stars, Hero Omega flew to the farthest reaches of space. But there were no other stars to find. They'd traveled too far. The light inside them faded and scattered into the universe.
How?
But there wasn't just one hero. Behind Omega, there were countless others. Oh god, I don't know all these letters off the top of my head. Hero, whatever that letter is. Hero Kai. Hero Phi. One by one, they all set out.
Hero, whatever that one is. Hero Kai. Hero Phi.
Little Lucia counts on her fingers, cycling through them again and again, until the designations blur. She can no longer remember which name belongs to which finger.
So many heroes. What was the last one called? They all left, one after another. Did the last hero fail too?
The final hero represents the beginning of everything. The first letter. Alpha.
Alpha. What kind of hero is Alpha?
Fiora runs her hand tenderly through little Lucia's hair, her fingertips brushing against the soft, delicate strands. She gazes at the child, as if peering into a future far, far away. Alpha is different from the heroes who set out before. She's still a child, everyone's little hero. She pictures the child walking through school gates, attending classes, and studying like they once did in their own childhood. Lucia's eyes widen, looking somewhat dissatisfied with that answer.
A little hero. The smallest of all the heroes? Does that mean Alpha's weak, not like the others?
No, sweetheart. Not like that at all. See, she's the hope of all the other heroes. She's their light. As long as she exists on this planet, the other heroes have a home, a place to go back to. She pictures the child making friends, surrounded by companions as sweet and dear as she is.
But if she's so small, how can she pass the light like others?
She's small now, but she'll grow, slowly, surely, until one day, she shines just as brightly as all the other heroes who came before. Little Alpha is the hero of heroes. She pictures the child finding the one meant for her, eventually walking down the aisle. Our one and only, our most precious little hero. So far away, as distant as the journey ahead of them.
Yet she cannot help but to long to see that future come to pass. She recalls something Dominic once said long ago, before everything turned into a nightmare. Standing by the observatory window, gazing out at the night sky, that person had said it so casually. One day, every star in this sky will reach each other, and eventually, will light up the whole universe. Someone laughed back then, teasing Dominic for dreaming too big again. That dreamer is gone now. Lucia? Omega... Oh... Gamma, Beta, and Alpha. I probably got some of those wrong. We gave those heroes some great names, didn't we? Lucia's lips curve into a subtle, quiet smile. Go on now, time for bed. I'll tell you more tomorrow. Her hand finds Lucia's, pulling her gently up. Lucia follows without protest, but a few steps later she turns her head. Her gaze drifts back to the cabinet. Leora? Did the heroes ever light up the night sky? Leora stops. Fragmented memories flood her mind, seizing the moment of hesitation. The gateway torn open, the tower looming, their lost leader, and the ones still fighting, marked with everything they've endured. Not yet. They're still flying. They will do it. They will light up the night sky. I know they will. Alpha. Alpha. Lucia mouthed the name again and again, as if savoring something precious. Ugh. Perhaps one day she will be the pride of them all. Perhaps one day she will become that final hero. She follows Leora back quietly, her mind still wandering through futures yet unwritten. After tucking Lucia in, Leora sits by the thermal blanket for a while, watching until her breathing steadies into sleep. Then she rises and walks alone to the observation platform. Above her, the sky is gray and wounded. The rift cuts across its surface, white fog seeping out in silence. She takes the spot Nemo used to take, tilts her head back, and watches the sky being devoured. There are no stars. Not a single one. Ugh. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick break. Ugh. I am gonna go to the bathroom, and at its point, I think I'm just gonna go try and find some allergy medicine anyway. Because this is annoying. And I think maybe after I come back, I'll do another stage of the story, and if I'm still feeling like this, I'll probably end after that, because this is a bit much for me. But I'm gonna take a quick break first. I'll be back soon. Hi, Kiro! Ah! Thank you for the raid. Sorry, I just got back from a little break. I've been struggling with allergies today, and so I went to go take a quick bathroom break and get some medicine. Hopefully that'll help. How are you? If I remember right, were you doing more Tales of Exilia remaster tonight? I know you were starting Mila's playthrough. I hope you had a nice stream. Thank you so much for the raid. I hope I didn't keep you waiting too long, because I only saw the raid message when I came back. But we're back now. So, kind of the plan here is I'm going to do another stage of the story, and I'm gonna see if my allergies. Ah! Hi, Kieran. Thank you as well for the raid. Hi, Seraph. Hi, Angora. Thank you for the raid. I hope you're all doing well. What were you streaming, Kieran? I hope you had a good stream. More GPL? Nice. How... I gotta ask. How's CRJ doing? I gotta... even if I can't be there, I gotta show some support for the girly. Untouched in the elimination, safe for another day. Oh, bless. I'm with her. She's in my heart. Hi, Drago. Thanks for coming. Yes, so, I was just saying, because Kiro also just raided, I was just saying, I think my plan right now, because I'm having some allergy issues, is I'm gonna do one more stage of this new story chapter, and see if I'm feeling better by the end of it. And if I am, great, we keep going. But if I'm not, I might end a little early, because allergies bad. Allergies bad. Don't like them, don't recommend them. Yeah. Hi, Anya. Hope you're doing well too. Yeah, allergies can be the worst, and I've been struggling with them all night. Well, even since last night. It sucks, and I wish they were gone. But I just took some medicine. Hopefully it'll help, but it's hard to say because sometimes allergy medicine just doesn't do anything for me. Your ass would have been too cranky to stream. I thought about not streaming, but I was like, no, I'll do it. But I might end up only doing half of what I was hoping I was gonna do. So, you know. Hello, Supreme X Dupe. Thanks for coming. Hope you're having a good day. I don't know if I said your name right, but... Supreme X Dupe. That's how I would imagine it be said. I did? Okay, cool. Thank you. Glad I did. Well, yes, thanks everybody for coming.
I hope you all had a good time with Kieran's stream. And of course, if any of you are tired and need to get some rest, you know, feel free. But if you'd like to stick around and go through this new Punishing Grey Raven main story chapter with me, that'd be fun too, you know? Fair warning though, this game is depressing. It is not a happy fun time. This is post-apocalyptic sci-fi to the max. Okay, so yes, I'm gonna do one more stage. I'm gonna see if the meds kick in. If they don't, I'm gonna probably end after this next stage. If they do, I'll go a little further. Seeking home. I'm back. Like a tide that never ebbs, the Crimson Chaos contamination presses against the force field shielding the base. Sometimes it thickens, congealing like old blood. Sometimes it thins to a pale red haze, but it never recedes. In the distant sky, the rift of the fog yawns wider with each passing moment. The replication of the keys proceeds at full speed, while more people are getting infected every day. The days grow shorter, while Lucia stays awake longer and longer. Every time she closes her eyes, the force field generator's hum shifts pitch, or something thuds dully against the barrier in the distance. Unable to sleep, she starts counting those who return. 5 went out, 4 returned. 4 went out, 3 returned. The red fog outside thickens with each passing day. They used to see the outline of ruins. Now, visibility ends at 3 meters. The medical station's storage compartments empty one by one. The last roll of repair filament runs out. 2 vials of repair fluid remain. The stabilizer bottle, held inverted, yields nothing. Not even that final reluctant drop. Leora's absence stretches longer and longer. She locks herself in the lab, sometimes going a full day without emerging. When Lucia brings her water, she finds her slumped at the desk, pen still cradled in her fingers. The ones who return are more broken each time. The damage digs deeper, spreads farther, pushing into the territories even Helga cannot repair. That day, Helga summons Lucia to the medical station. On the operating table, she has laid out a row of instruments in precise formation. We'll go over broken conduits today. Debride first, align the ends, then wrap with repair filament at this angle. She runs through the demonstration before Lucia can respond. Got it?
Yeah.
Your turn. Lucia replicates the steps from memory. Some of her wrapping is slightly off, but she gets it right overall. Next, repair fluid injection. Locate the junction first. 1 finger joint up from the break. Angle the needle in shallow. Keep the flow steady with a single smooth press. She demonstrates again. Got it?
Yeah.
Now you. Lucia picks up the practice needle, trying to align it. Her hand shakes when she inserts it. Got the position right. Practice more on your own when you have time. Next. That's enough, Helga. From the bed beside them comes a thin voice. It's Julian, just out of another mind boil over. She's just a kid. So quit drilling her like she's a recruit. I'm teaching her how to keep people alive. You have a problem with that? Silence settles over him. The eyes he'd labored to keep open drift closed once more. Whatever. Doesn't matter anyway. There's no hope left. Helga's hands pause over the instrument upon his flippant words. What did you say? I said there's no hope. Staring at the ceiling, he lets out a sigh. Know how thick that fog is. They said visibility is nothing past 5 meters. Those things throw themselves at the barrier every single day. Every day our people go out there and come back half dead. For what? Barrier just keeps shrinking anyway. Me? I've got it easy. I sit here at base relaying signals. Only thing I'm supposed to do. I can't even do that right. But you're whining. You're the only functioning comm station we have left. Which is exactly why you're back here. Too much data throughput, and your mind boiled over, again. Well, long as you're still here, you'll just patch me up again, right? Helga offers no response. Julian, unfazed by whether anyone cares, just carries on talking. Yesterday I botched the relay. The warning came in 10 seconds late. Number 9 didn't make it back. Day before that, same thing. Relay range collapsed on the west flank. Couldn't reach them in time. The enemies broke through and hurt Chris and Nemo again. They just healed a few days back. The words come out flat, but his fingers betray him, scraping at the bed's edge. Why'd they give me this ability when they modified me? I can see the signals, but the moment my mind boils over, I can't transmit. It's been really killing me. I'm just a busted relay station. That's all I am. Helga approaches and leans down, her gaze settling on him. You finished? Yeah, I'm finished. Then shut up and rest. She returns to the operating table and picks up where she left off with Lucia. Her voice fills the medical station once more, as calm and precise as her medical equipment, stripped of anything unnecessary. On the bed, Julian shuts his eyes. But his fingers won't stop. They keep scratching at the bed's edge in a restless rhythm, as if typing on keys no one else can see. Julian? Your mind requires a minimum of 2 hours of complete rest for every 12 hours of a sustained relay operation. That's not a suggestion. I'm out of your medication. You keep pushing past that threshold, and one day I won't be able to pull you back. Fine. No more relaying. They want to throw their lives away out there, that's on them. Not my problem. You better mean that. A few days later. Team set out early that day. Chris, Nemo, Helga, and 2 other members. Having inspected each person's equipment in turn, Helga looks back again toward the medical station, where a small figure peeks out from the doorway. Helga makes her way over and kneels down in front of the little one, meeting her at eye level. You remember everything I taught you?
Yes.
Don't mix up the steps.
I won't.
Ever efficient, Helga hesitates for once. She's about to stand when she feels a light, tentative pull at the edge of her coat.
Helga? There's still a lot I don't know. So you have to come back to teach me. I'll wait for all of you.
Helga reaches out with her left hand, the wound still split open, and rests it gently on Lucia's head. Stay here and keep yourself safe. Helga gives no explanation, no reason for leaving, no destination. She rises, turns, and walks away. Lucia remains rooted in place, watching Helga's shape blur and vanish into the white fog. Night has settled by the time they return. First footstep reaches Lucia's ears, and she's already out the medical station's door. Nemo leads the way, Chris slumped over his shoulder. Chris's right leg is severed at the knee, his full weight sagging against Nemo. Behind them, two more stagger in, one holding the other upright, vital fluid bleeding out from both. There is no fifth person. Lucia stands in the doorway. She counts, then she counts again.
Where's Helga?
The team falls silent. Nemo puts Chris on the bed, then reaches into his pocket and sets something on the operating table. It's a medical module, standard issue for support and amplifier constructs. Lucia recognizes it instantly. It was Helga's. What happened? The force field protecting the base. It got breached. Before anyone could seal it, they poured through. Those things from the fog. We had to hold the breach and take out everything that made it inside before the repairs done. Helga didn't stop. Not once. Working on anyone she could reach. Her left leg was already broken. His voice is thick with exhaustion, each word coming slower than the last. Ran through every supply she had. When that wasn't enough, she started taking parts from herself. In the end, she took that off too. He looks at the medical module on the operating table. She said, "Save it for the others." The adults say nothing, caught between the grief of losing their comrade and the child standing before them. Lucia crosses to the operating table and takes up the module. It's small, light, marked by a residue of dark vital fluid. She cleans it with care and places it into the empty storage slot. That done, she gathers the remaining medical supplies and walks to Chris's bedside.
I'll help treat your wounds.
Her voice remains calm, as though she's buried all her grief deep within. That's how Helga was. Helga never cried. Helga never made mistakes. Helga treated every wound with machine-like precision, steady and unmoved. So Lucia cannot cry. Lucia cannot make mistakes. She follows the procedures Helga taught her, step by step. Debride the wound, align the brakes, wrap with repair filament. She's nearly done repairing Chris's abdomen when something catches her eye. Inside the wound, nearly invisible to the naked eye, sit tiny dark red crystals. She thinks her eyes are playing tricks on her. When she looks again, they seem to have vanished. Uh-oh. Nemo's injuries are lighter than Chris's, but the fracture in his chest is reopened. The fourth time now. When she injects him with repair fluid, Nemo's fingers curl. Noticing that, Lucia passes him a piece of cloth without a word. Nemo takes it just as silently, clutching it in his hand. When the last wound is dressed, Lucia stands in the center of the medical station and surveys the room. Chris lies on the bed, his right leg joint damaged. Of the other two, one has a shattered shoulder, the other a force field cracked a third of the way through. They came back. but part of them stayed there forever. It was Julian. He says it to the ceiling, voice rough and sudden. Fog was too thick out there. Couldn't see a damn thing. Julian hadn't been relaying coordinates. We wouldn't have even known which way to go. Signal kept cutting out on the way back, though. Where is he? Guy's gotta be completely spent by now. When Leora pushes the door open, Julian is still there, seated at the terminal, as he always does. Before those unblinking eyes, waves of intricate data still flicker endlessly across the screen. But his body can no longer move. An unfinished message waits on the terminal, typed as though his mind was collapsing mid-sentence. Relay frequency adjustment log. For whoever takes over next, Western side's lost coverage, needs manual compensation. Formulas in the dock at the top left. The document in the top left corner is filled with numbers and symbols. For a long time, the base has been engulfed in a suffocating silence. Their numbers grow fewer. They leave more often. The wounds they come back with grow worse. Lucia's days blur into a single looping thread. Wait for them, tend to the wounds, clean the medical station, wait again. She wipes down the empty beds in silence, packing away what's left behind. Until one day, Nemo comes to her, something held in his hands. It's a scrap of colored wire insulation, and a thin metal sheet bent into a curve. Lucia, your birthday's the day after tomorrow. I made you a hat. Aw. It looks terrible, but he did his best. He lifts the crooked little object for her to see. Red and blue insulation wraps around the metal in rough, alternating bands. Amid the gloom of this world, the birthday hat claims its own vivid colors. Calling that a hat? A birthday hat. Looks like a wire hoop with regrets. Nemo doesn't respond. He just keeps wrapping the metal with insulation. Didn't know you knew how to make stuff like that. My father. He used to make them for my birthdays. Back before we cut ties. Well, my gift can't be worse than yours anyway. He pulls a knife from his waist and hands it to Lucia. It's a kodachi, with a blade too short for standard issue, retrieved from the very bottom of the weapon rack. Lightweight gear, meant for smaller frames. For Lucia, though, it's as heavy as an odachi. Her small body sinks beneath its weight the instant she closes her hands around it. It's yours.
Thank you.
Her birthday's not for 2 more days. You're giving it to her now? Does it matter? His voice stays light and casual. His right hand never leaves his pocket. Gifts are better given early. You wait too long, and you might not get another chance. While the two of them talk, Lucia's hand is already moving toward the blade. In those cartoons she and Luna used to watch, every superhero swung a blade like it weighed nothing. As easy as flicking a pencil. The blade is heavier than Lucia expects. She barely lifts it with both hands, the handle too thick for her small grip. Her fingers fumble, searching for a position they can't find.
Whoa!
Hey kid, that's not how you hold a blade. With a look that says, what am I gonna do with you? Chris lowers himself to her level and repositions her hands on the grip. Grip it firm.
Lucia obeys, but her hands still can't find their place. The blade droops, heavy and uncooperative, tipping toward the floor no matter how hard she tries to hold it steady. Take your time. Yeah, firmly grasp it! You haven't found your reason for holding a blade yet. That's why the blade won't listen to you. But for a kid, you're doing better than all right. He stands, brushing off his knees with a grin. The day after tomorrow, we'll celebrate your birthday together. When Leora steps out of the laboratory, finds the three of them, 2 grown-ups and 1 little child, happily gesturing away at each other. A hint of a smile slips into her weary face. That's right. We're all celebrating Lucia's birthday together. The 3 adults turn to Lucia in unison. She clutches the Kodachi with both hands and answers with a firm nod of her own.
Okay.
Chris spends the day talking Lucia's ear off, from when I was your age, all the way to every middle-aged man's favorite tale. Back in the day, Dominic and I... Only when he catches little Lucia's starry-eyed wonder and the deadpan stares of Nemo and Leora does he finally turn away, satisfied. Back in his quarters, he closes the door, something he rarely does, and leans back against the wall. Dark red lines have crept from his wrist all the way up his forearm. A searing pain. Then a subtle, tingling numbness. He gaps for breath, and at last a hoarse laugh scrapes out of him. Looks pretty cool, doesn't it? You're gonna die! It's not cool! On the morning of Lucia's birthday, Chris sets out. He tells them the cleanup area is small. He'll be back soon, he says. Wait for me, kid. I'll be right back. Lucia remains at the doorway, still clutching the Kodachi, watching as his silhouette fades into the white fog. She stands there, unmoving, until Leora calls her name several times before she finally hears. Because on his way out, Chris glanced back at her. He never looked back before. Beyond the force field, Chris walks alone through the ruins. He told a lie. The cleanup area was never small. He's gone far, deliberately, pushing into zones he'd normally avoid. He's not going back. First wave, 3 monsters. With practiced ease, he raises his left hand and fires twice. Second wave, 5. One of them is a mutant, its body armored in plates of crimson crystal. Come on! He charges head-on, his knife aimed for a crevice in the crystal shell. Then a searing bolt of pain tears through his right hand. It spasms. The blade veers off target. The mutant's claws tear through his chest plate. Teeth gritted, he drives the knife home with his left. Last one! The final enemy collapses. Chris slumps against the wall, each breath a wet, labored rasp. Vital fluid seeps from the gash in his chest plate. He glances down at his right hand. Those dark red veins have crept past the elbow now. I can still fight. Third wave, 7 monsters. 2 of them are mutants. The 5th one does it. His left leg joint fails and he goes down hard. He's on his knees, too injured to dodge the 6th when it comes. The claws rip across his left shoulder, opening a huge, ragged wound. Bright red vital fluid spills from his mouth as he crumples onto the rubble.
When he lifts his head again, the seventh monster walks toward him over the debris. Crunch, crunch, a pendulum ticking toward death. Suddenly, its shape begins to shift. His vision fades at the edges, and the twisted silhouette warps into something else entirely. The monster that took his wife and daughter. He'd never seen that abominable creature with his own eyes. Had no idea what it truly looked like. But in the grip of countless nightmares, his mind gave it a shape. Now that thing stares back at him. He grips the dagger tight and hurls himself at the shadow, stumbling forward on broken joints. The moment his blade sinks in, a claw drives through his abdomen and out the other side. His face contorts with rage as he roars and buries the dagger deeper, watching until the light fades from the creature's eyes. He lifts his head with agonizing effort, spits a mouthful of bloody froth, and stares up at an ashen sky. The sky didn't always look this bleak. Gotta go home. It was June, and the sky was a clean, cloudless blue. He stood at the door with a heavy pack slung across his shoulder.
Chris, wait.
A woman in an apron rushed out after him, carrying with her the warm, sweet scent of something just pulled from the oven at home.
The cinnamon rolls are still warm. I put double frosting on them, just the way you like.
Take them with you. Something warm for the road.
Oh.
And there's mushroom soup, too. I packed it in the thermos. He turned, a little impatient, so the woman behind him couldn't reach the zipper of his backpack. Thank you for the virtual tissue, Alan. Ugh. Man, I wish I had a cinnamon roll with double frosting. I can't take them. Pack stuffed with tactical gear. She didn't complain. Simply set down the steaming food with some hesitation, then moved in front of him to smooth out his rumpled clothes. There used to be a cafe where you lived that sold 3-pound cinnamon rolls. You miss it? Yeah, there's somewhere near where I live that sells pretty big cinnamon rolls too. Those are pretty good. Can't imagine if they disappeared. What would I do? He evaded his wife's gentle gaze, turning his face aside to stare into the distance, toward the place he was going. After all these years, just when you were about to retire, I thought you'd finally be home with our girl, and now you're leaving again. Her eyes were rimmed with red, but she still wore that tender smile. I heard it's really far away. 500 miles from home. The Vanguard team needs me. He believed he was doing something great. They need constructs. People who can handle things. Someone like me should be out there being a hero. Not stuck in a little home for the rest of my life. He waved it off with a carefree gesture, looking for all the world like a great hero. A little figure came pattering out of the room.
Daddy, my birthday's coming soon. Please don't go, okay?
Daddy's gotta go because there are thousands of little girls just like you who deserve a happy birthday too. Nothing but grand, lofty words. He bent down, meaning to scrub his stubble against his daughter's cheek the way he always used to, but she ducked away and hid fuming behind his wife. He grinned at the sight. Relax, alright? This chaos contamination thing, nothing but a little ruckus. Hey, kiddo, you really like that Kodachi, right? When I get home, it's all yours. You can use it to protect Mom in our home. How's that sound? He gave his daughter's head a rough, affectionate tussle. Alright, I'm heading out. His wife's gentle smile, his child's adoring eyes, the smoke wafting in the kitchen, the sweet scent wafting from the oven. The door swung shut, sealing away those precious memories he'd once dismissed so carelessly. Then the chaos contamination hit, and that door stayed closed forever. He never made it back for his daughter's birthday. Go home. Over the debris hangs a sky no longer azure, bleached to a dull ashen gray. His hands find nothing to hold. He can only fall, cheek scraping the grit. He crawls across the ground like an infant. His awareness dims, but a single image holds fast. Lucia at the base entrance, that crooked little hat perched on her head, watching and waiting for his return. I said I'd come back. His voice rasps dryly in his throat, as every trace of his humanity bleeds away, little by little. This time, I'm not breaking my word. At the base, the blue candle has long since guttered out. Lucia remains at the table, staring at the uneven little round of hardtack before her. Leora sits beside her, telling a new story she made up, while Nemo leans nearby, listening in silence. Lucia seems distracted, her gaze drifting to the door now and then, as though waiting for something. Time crawls by. Then, just as Lucia looks outside again, the force field readings spike. Something's outside. Heavy footsteps sound from outside, as if someone is dragging themselves forward with their last bit of strength. The door shudders open. Chris drops, collapsing to his knees at the threshold, before anyone can reach him. His armor has been ripped away in great jagged sections. His left arm hangs at a sickening angle, nearly detached from the shoulder. Vital fluid seeps from the wounds riddling his body. His force field has failed completely. Only shattered fragments remain, still clinging to his broken frame. Lucia. Chris! Leora yanks back the child trying to rush forward. She sees the dark crimson veins threading up Chris's arm, all the way to his shoulder. Chaos contamination. Chris knows it too. Through the tremors racking his broken frame, he forces himself to go still. Don't come closer. He remains kneeling at the door, his breathing rapid and ragged. Happy birthday, Lucia. I made it back this time. With the final fraying thread of his sanity, he lets out a roar in a voice no longer human. Nemo, help me! One last time! Let me die as a human. Nemo grits his teeth and, with agonizing effort, draws the blade from his waist. In the next instant, Chris's broad figure surges toward him in a blur. His blade plunges deep into Chris's chest, a sensation he knows all too well. Nemo looks down at his face, at the last trace of consciousness draining away, until nothing human stares back. He has seen this before, in the courtyard where he grew up, on an ordinary evening at dusk. His father stood before him then, the light in his eyes guttering out. That day, he had to... No. Why does he always end up on this same path? Nemo's arm trembles. No matter how he tries, he cannot pull the blade free. Chris's body seizes again. The dark red veins have spread across half his face, creeping toward his eyes. But just before they claim him completely, Chris goes motionless. His gaze lifts, drifting beyond Nemo, and settles on something in the distance. Chris! Lucia clutches the kodachi in her small hands. She grips it with effort, using the hold Chris taught her. The blade is trembling slightly in her hands, but she stands there nonetheless, placing herself in front of Leora. A child of 7, holding a blade longer than her forearm, standing between everyone and what Chris has become. Chris looks at her, and across his face, which has nearly lost all trace of humanity, a fleeting human expression surfaces. His lips tremble. Then, impossibly, they curve into a faint smile. Finally. At the center of his vision crouches the monster that slaughtered his wife and daughter. In countless nightmares, he's watched them die at its claws, and he was always one step too late. Today, someone has lifted that long overdue blade in his place. You found what you want to protect, kiddo. He smiles with quiet relief, watching that monstrous form fade until there's nothing left. His feet begin to move again. 500 miles, 400 miles. On and on he walks, back toward the starting point of his journey. Everything seems to return to how it was at the beginning. Sweet steam still curling from the oven, fireplace aglow, his wife's gentle voice, the noisy chatter of his daughter. Back. He collapses, arms still locked in an embrace. Nemo's pupils tremble. Before his eyes, his father's face, the faces of one broken patient after another, and Chris's face. They swim together, overlapping, then drifting apart. He seems to see it again. That setting sun, the sky tumbling once more into endless night. And he's powerless. His fate has never been anything else. Time stretches, heavy and soundless. Then, at last, a small hand comes to rest on the back of his. Nemo? For some reason, she seems to be desperately holding back her grief, her eyes and nose red. The crooked little crown she wore has tumbled off somewhere. She gently crouches down and closes Chris's pain-filled eyes. Seeing that her hat has fallen to the ground, she stoops, picks it up, sets it back on her head. Then, on her tiptoes, she reaches up and tenderly wipes Leora's tears away. Leora, don't... She means to say don't cry, but her mouth opens and the word never comes. A world's worth of sorrow crashes down upon that small chest.
Chris's death brings no comfort to anyone. That mirage of happiness existed only in his own eyes, in the very last moment of his life. And when that flickering candle is snuffed out, all that leaves the living is a damp, bone-cold, and unending night. Outside the window, the fog grows ever thicker.
Oof. Painful. Okay. Give me 1 second. I think I'm going to end here for tonight. I think I'm just a little too allergy-y to keep going. But on Friday night, I'll be back, and I'll continue with some more of this new story chapter. Alright. Thanks everybody for coming, and, for, you know, being with me as my, even in my allergy state. Hi Peach! I hope you're doing well today. Unfortunately, I'm about to end. I'm feeling just a little bit too allergied up to keep going today, unfortunately. Yeah, at least you got to say hi. And I'll be back on Friday. I'll be back on Friday with some more of this new story chapter. Okay. What? Press the wrong button. Okay. I think tonight let's raid J1. I think he just got over being sick, and hasn't streamed in a little bit because of it. So let's go say hi to him and wish him a happy Pride Month. And yeah, I will be back Friday night to continue with this story. Hope I can see you all then. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for coming and for journeying alongside me through the allergy zone. Alright. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.